Guys, this passage here in Romans chapter 12, and what I did is the verses that we've already covered, I took them out. So we're starting with verse 14 now. But going back up about those 7 or 8 verses that we've already looked at, he's talking about Christian conduct. He's talking about what it looks like and what it should look like, to be a Christian. And we had some really good, meaty things there, to the point where we would take a whole week and maybe go through 2 verses. You know what I'm saying? And we've come to this point right here, and I think it speaks for itself, but I want to ask you about this. We're going to look at this together. Bless those who persecute you. Bless them and do not curse them. We're going to bless those who persecute you. Talk to me a little bit today. What do you think persecution looks like today? What do you think that word persecution looks like? How is it relevant today in this world? For you, right now, what do you think of? Persecute. They persecute you. Tell me, talk to me, somebody. They want to see you fail. Ooh, I like that answer. That's good. Randy, what were you going to say? Okay, so somebody you try to witness, not only do they not listen to you, but they kind of like make fun of you and make you belittle you as they're walking away from you or whatever else. They persecute you. Okay, good. What else? What else do you think? Yes.
In today's world, social media can be excruciating, painful experience. And I think people use that to mask out to other people what they're doing.
Social media is a major platform to ridicule. It's a simple place. It's an easy place. You don't see the person. You can type up whatever nasty thing that you want to say, press send. You don't have to look at them. You don't have to hear their rebuttal. You can just sit there and say whatever nasty stuff that you want to and be done with it and sit there and feel good about how nasty you were to somebody else or whatever else. Social media was meant to bring people together. You haven't heard from your high school class in 10 years? Well, here's social media. It's going to bring you all together so that you can talk and communicate and everything else. And what ends up happening is what was meant to be good, the devil has used and has turned and made it bad. It is one of the biggest sources of division that we have today. Social media is nasty. I just don't get on social media. Don't be mad at me if I'm not sitting there liking your stuff. The thing of it is, I'm not aware of your stuff, okay? If you want me to congratulate you on something, send me a text message, because I am not going on social media, hardly at all. Unless I'm cooking some pork or something like that, or I eat a really good meal, those seem to be the only things, and whatever my wife tags my name on. So if you see something that has my name on it, 90% chance my wife did that, and that wasn't even me, okay? But I do agree, and I think people could sit there and say, you're that party? Oh, my lands. You voted for that person? Unbelievable stuff. You mean you're pro, COVID shots? Oh, my lands. What, you're against it? I mean, all kinds of nasty stuff that's being said all over the place. And people want to bring it into the church sometimes. There's times when I sit down and say, no, we're not going there. That is only going to be something the devil's going to grab a hold of and swing and smack people around with. So we are smart and we're careful and stuff. But we can. You post something and somebody can turn around and write you the nastiest thing in response to something you put on social media. Persecution, they're jealous of you. Workplace, you are in a position, somebody else. They're trying to they want to be elevated, but they can't elevate themselves fast enough. So instead of continuing to spend their effort trying to elevate themselves, what do? They're going to knock some of those blocks out from under you and try to get you down here so that they feel more elevated. Persecution. I think there's a lot of different ways that we can be persecuted. The Bible talks about being persecuted for our faith. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are people that absolutely hated the church. They think Jesus Christ was the reason why we have all this division going on in the country, all of these kinds of things and stuff. They blame the church, they blame Jesus and everything else. And I'm telling you, Jesus sat there and went to the sinners and showed love and favor upon them and everything else. But the big problem that the world has is the world looks at Jesus and they say, yeah, but you're saying that that's sinful. No, Jesus is saying that that's hurtful for you. Jesus is, if you saw your kid drinking nitroglycerin, you would sit there and say, stop, that's bad for you. How dare you say this is bad for me? This is nitroglycerin. And shame on you. You're speaking bad about nitroglycerin. That's the problem. That's the analogy. That's really where it is, right? And so people sit there and say, oh, the church, they don't accept this and they don't accept that. And they judge, that guy out there who's an alcoholic, who's on the corner begging. The church just goes by and say, oh, you sinful man, instead of having compassion. No, nothing could be further from the truth. But the devil likes to say these things. Persecution. Okay, what do you do to the person who's trying to elevate themselves and knock you down, and they don't want you to succeed? They want you to fail. That I liked your definition a whole lot. They want you to fail. How should you respond to them? Turn the other cheek. Okay? Would pray for them? Really? Like how so? Pray for your enemies. This verse says, bless those who persecute you. Bless them and don't curse them. So what does it mean to bless? They're down here, you're up here, they're jealous of you. Instead of looking down on them and spitting down on them or whatever else, help to elevate them. Help to elevate them. Oh, my land, it's hard. Racism. Minorities. Dira talks all the time to me, all the time, about these foreigners that own these gas stations. They're either from India or the Middle East. She says, oh, Jeff, please, 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 when you go in there, just smile at them. Just smile at them. Because normally, instead of being smiled at, they get this, can't believe that they sold the Amoco franchise to someone like you, a foreigner. Have to buy my gas from a foreigner. Smile at them. Invite them to church. Ask their name. When you see their name, pronounce their name. Joke, say, oh man, I think I didn't say it right. How do you pronounce it? Engage them. Look them in the eye. Look at them in the eye. So many people go through life and people won't even look at them in the eye, but when you look at somebody in the eye, whoa, it's weird, isn't it? I'm looking at you in the eye. You already feel that. You feel that. You look at somebody, you look them in the eye, and you engage them instead of looking down, looking away. Instead of persecuting them and saying, how dare you? There's no wonder you're way down there. Sheesh, you're horrible. No wonder. Bless them. Figure out ways to help Yeah, but they're not from America. Yeah, well, so what? Are they not a creation of God? Did God not create the people from India and so forth, right? You all hear what I'm saying? Was so aggravated after the Purdue game. Matthew came, and Matthew doesn't like fried rice and that sort of stuff, so he didn't eat my fried rice and stuff. It was okay because I just left more for me. So he's like, would you take me somewhere and give me something to eat? I'm like, I don't have a problem. That'd be awesome. I'm glad you want to hang out. It gives me another half an hour, 45 minutes to hang out with you before we leave. So we drive, and we went the back way, and we went, down south, that long thing, that one exit. And it took us forever to get there, and they over there by the airport, and then east, and oh my land, the traffic was bad. We finally get to a McDonald's. And you know how they have the double lines, right? For crying out loud, guys, in the double lines, we moved 2 car lengths in 20 minutes. And there were like 10 people in front of us. And I rolled down my window. I said, can you scoot back enough to let me out of here? This is stupid ridiculous. I'm not waiting here an hour and a half to get a quarter pounder. And he says, yep, you go ahead, I'll follow you. And I said, cool, let's go. Drove down the way, went to Arby's. Woohoo, Arby's is better than McDonald's anyway. Am I right? So we go over there to Arby's. Matthew and Amy get out of the car, and we're near about 4 or 5 cars in the drive-thru. Like, we're not even going to wait. They're just going to go inside and go up there to the door. It's locked. What? Why is it? So we go back. Said the door is locked. Well, what's up with that? Come on, let's go around. Let's go and get in the drive-thru. We get in the drive-thru. There's 6 cars in front of us. We wait there 15 minutes. Not one car moved forward. I'm like, this is stupid. So you know what we ended up doing? We went to the gas station. We ate gas station food. Put some gas in the car. Indian guy sitting there, back there. He didn't have a turban on, but he was as Indian, as it would look, right? He's Indian as can be. And I sit there and I thought, Endura, hey, we just came from the football game and stuff. Man, we went down there to McDonald's and we waited and this and this and this. And he started laughing. Said, I got out of the line. Then I went to Arby's and the door was locked. And then we got to drive, and we waited there 15 minutes. And he's just laughing. He goes, yeah, no, in his Indian accent. I don't even know what an Indian accent. I think I went Mexican real fast there. But in his Indian accent, he's sitting there and he's telling me, people lazy around here. And I said, yes and no, people won't work. They sit home and they get their unemployment check and everything else, and they don't. And then even when their unemployment is gone, they'll sit there and they'll get a job. But if they don't want to work that particular hour a day, then they just don't show up. But the thing of it is the people are so desperate to have employees, they won't fire them. They'll just let them pick and choose when they come in, because it's better to have at least somebody show up a little bit. But I'm going to tell you, I'm sitting around talking to this guy, and this guy afterwards, he's like, hey, listen, man, you take it easy. Do you need anything else? Because I got food over here, anything. And he's like blown out of his mind that this kid, this old balding-looking, doofy, goofy dude and his little kid is sitting there engaging him and talking with him. And you would have thought that I sit there and I don't know what, like went there and cleaned his bathrooms for him or something. Seriously. I mean, he had somebody be nice to him. You got to bless him. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. So he must be talking about the church now, right? No. If you see the guy, the Indian guy, and he's having a bad day, hey, what's going on, man? You all right? You build a little bit of a relationship in there. You go to, I want so desperate. I used to be so good at this. when we were up in Elkhart, I knew, Amy, did I not know everybody? I knew my mail carrier. I knew my FedEx person. I knew the people at the gas station. I knew everybody. Any restaurant, any fast food place, I went out of my way. I was young enough I could actually remember names back then. And so I would go in, I'm like, hey, what's going on, Dean, at the service place? Hey, what's going on? Mail carrier guy that's getting ready to retire in a year and got a hole-in-one at the something golf course on hole number 12. I mean, I knew all of these kinds of things. And if I saw somebody, whether they went to my church or not to my church or whatever else, if I saw them happy, hey, what's going on? I hit a hole-in-one. He was so proud, Randy, that guy was. He was so proud. I got a hole-in-one over here, 163-yard, par 3, hole number 12. Really? You did? That's awesome. Yeah, it really was. Says, dude, said, I'm lucky to even hit the green on that hole. Yeah, well, it bounced. And I sit there and I listened to him. Do you not think I had things to do? Do you not know me? You know, I always have something to do. My list is a mile long. But we stop and we listen to him. And I'm telling you what, from then on, and there were many times that he knew I was a pastor. And there were many times where he didn't get to the point where he came to the church, but he got to the point where he said, listen, would you pray for this or this for me? Yeah, absolutely. You rejoice with them when they're rejoicing. You're sad when you see that they're sad. This is genuine. These little relationships that we build. Not necessarily with those in the church. I would say even more so that are outside of the church. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Don't sit there and look for the things that divide you. Why would you do that? Why would you go and look for the things that are different and say, well, you're a Republican, aren't you? Or you're a, you know, why would you do these things? Your neighbor has the election sign in their yard. Well, I'm never going to talk to them again. My land, he's got the turban, not talking to him. He is a foreigner. And I'm not talking from 200 years ago. He's fresh off the boat foreigner. You know? Oh, my land, they're Pittsburgh fans. I'm not ever going to talk with him again. He roots for Ben Roethlisberger's hamburger guy, whatever. Find those things. Oh, Amy Gammon, our friends, not Kira, but yeah. What did they say? Build bridges, not fences. Yes. Yeah, we know. Rhonda says, I love talking to people. And you do, and it's awesome. And the thing of it is, you know, I don't see you as anything but Rhonda. But I used to know that you were Asian. I mean, you're Chinese or Japanese? Chinese? Japanese. Mm. Everybody's people. And everybody. I'm going to tell you what, guys. This girl right back here is very, very shy. She hates the fact that I'm calling attention to her right now. But I'm going to tell you what, she got up there, she played that tambourine like she had done it like since she was in her mommy's tummy, right? But I'm telling you what, you are going to enjoy getting to know Elizabeth. And Brett's okay too. But Elizabeth, you're going to see somebody who, man, she just passionately loves the Lord. And when it comes to the things of the Lord, you drop what you're doing and you go and you run to the things of the Lord. The Lord needs somebody, so here I am. What do? She's like, Jeff, I don't really want to be up there on Sunday. She says, no, you'll be fine. You know? she was fantastic. And then like we ate dinner this week, and she's like, you don't want me up there like every week? Yeah, every week. And not only that, but you're going to read scripture. What? I'm going to read scripture in Spanish, right? Like, I don't care. You can read it in Portuguese if you want. Just, just make sure you translate it, right? And so, but you are going to love getting to know this person. But she's not like you. She doesn't look like you. She's got really, really dark brown eyes, and she has an accent. An accent. And sometimes you say a word and she doesn't know what it means, and she'll have to ask Brett, and Brett will say, blah, 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 and she'll go, oh, blah, 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 blah. You go, oh, okay, and stuff like, oh, how dare they? You've been in our country for a year and you can't speak perfect English? We do this. We do this. Right? We do. Oh, I'm making friends tonight. Oh, this right here, guys, everything that we've talked about so far is under this umbrella. It is all underneath that umbrella. I'm an American. Oh, I'm really going to make friends when I say this. I'm white and I'm a male and I'm American. I know you're offended. I know you are. I know you are. Well, the white guy doesn't get any favors. You know what? I don't want to hear any of that. I don't care if you are white or yellow or green. Okay? You can call yourself Marvin the Martian. You make me so angry. And I know I'm making you angry. I know I am. I am. Some of you are like, dude, I'm not sure I ever want to hear you again, Pastor Jeff. I get that. I am telling you guys, it should mean nothing. These things should absolutely mean nothing. Maybe you feel like you're here and everybody else is here. I'm telling you what, if they're there and you feel like you are here, regardless of what color you are, male or female, whatever it is, and you feel like you're here, and somebody else is there, I'm telling you what, you bless. You bless. I'm going to make you even more mad. I have no idea what it's like to be a black person. Never been black. Don't know what it's like to have black parents, black grandparents, black great-grandparents. I don't know what it's like to grow up in primarily black neighborhoods. I don't know what it's like to be a black person and try to get into a college or a university. I don't know any of those things. I really don't. I can think whatever else, but the reality is I'm just going on my opinion from what I have seen, heard, and those kinds of things and stuff. I just really don't know. One of the most attractive things that I have seen is when I know of a black person, and I'm not going to mention his name, but Amy, you know who I'm talking about, or at least you know the person that I'm getting ready to describe. I knew this person at Greenville, and this person came from suburbia Chicago, and I knew that this person had a rough go of it and a hard time. And I remember kind of watching this person my freshman year kind of go from this stature to a slightly different stature. By the time I graduated and this person graduated, I would have thought that this person, everybody under the sun liked him. But in talking with him later, I found out some things. And not everybody under the sun liked him. Some people didn't like him. Even though he was the nicest guy that there ever could be, some people just did not like him. But I would have never thought that. I would have never guessed it. And yet, what I saw him doing all the time was, Amy, you know who I'm talking about now. Amy, correct me if I'm wrong. He was like the notorious builder-upper. Everyone and anyone that he would ever come in contact with, he was constantly trying to build them up and move them up. and make them better. And the people that hung around him, they became better people just from being around this person. Was not concerned about himself. Not that I could ever see. Did you ever see that? I never saw him sitting there saying, "Well, I've been mistreated," or "I this whatever." I've never saw that. It just wasn't. I never heard those things. He was content with where he was status-wise, but he was constantly building other people up. And what was interesting was, I think the reason why by the time he graduated and I graduated, I thought that everybody loved and adored him and everything else. And, he might have even been like class president or something. I don't know. But if he wasn't, everybody knew him. Everybody wanted to befriend him. Everyone. But even though I found out that wasn't the case, he wasn't concerned about himself. He was building everybody else up. But in the process of building everybody else up, do you know what happened? He just became like the most attractive person in the world. And everybody wanted to be around him. I wanted to be around him. I did. The guy was phenomenal. Gary, you remind me of him. You really do. You just do. Guys, I worked hard, I put forth, I deserve all of these things because I'll tell you, that those things may all be true. You may be a hardworking guy. You may have, whatever else. But I'm telling you, when you consider others above yourself, and you decide that you're going to view yourself more kind of down here in one of these levels, oh, wow. Wow, Christ shines. Christ shines. Be willing to associate with people of low position. Don't be conceited. Proud and conceited are brother and sister words. But I could do the job better than that person. Probably could. Maybe it would be okay to concede the job to that person. Maybe it would be easier for you to go and find a different job and concede that job to that person. Oh man, I am really, really getting deep into this, aren't I? It's that old problem out in the West. Oh, he's a pig farmer. Oh, he's a cattle herder. Pig farmer, cattle herder, trampling my fields, stupid pigs. We look after our own. And I appreciate you hearing me. I do. I appreciate you hearing me. You want to say something?
I kind of know how some of these things happen. When I was in training as a serviceman, I would go into places, and one time I went and had to knock on the door to get into it, and the guy came. He knew I was an American because of my appearance, so he stood out and he said, "Well, you can't come in because you're not a member." And I said in German, because I knew what he was doing, I said I didn't know I had to have a membership card. And he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, come on in. I thought you were an American." And I didn't go in, but now I knew what that guy was about.
I always thought you looked a little bit German. Just a tick.
But that's an example.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So my position is I always want to have someone know you before they judge you.
He's a pastor. Run away. Run away. Run away. Your nephew was so nice to me, just so kind to me. We're sitting there talking after the service and stuff. He says something to me. I don't remember what he says, but kind of not what I expected. Good. Good. It's good. People have expectations, all the time. Christians, oh my lands, Christians are horrible, nasty, rotten, evil people. that they're just filled with hate, and they just want to divide. It is just absolutely the opposite. Couldn't be 180 degrees more the opposite, you know? Judgment-free zone. Yeah, I'm the biggest dork I know. He goes back, he says, do not repay evil for evil. He restates this again. Don't repay evil for evil. You know, if instead of repaying evil for evil, you show mercy and grace, you will have an audience. They will look to you. They will listen to you. You know what I wouldn't give to have an audience? Amy's heard me say this all the time when I talk to different people about being a pastor. I say I'm always looking for a creative way to communicate the gospel. Maybe you liked the magic trick on Sunday. Maybe you thought it was a 10-minute waste of time. You know, but the simple fact of the matter is I'm looking for ways to keep people's attention. And Amy's heard me say this. If I had to stand up here with a ventriloquist doll on my hand, and we just talked back and forth, and I presented the Bible that way, but it filled the places, and people heard it every single week, I would sit there and be the dummy and let the ventriloquist, you know, talk and present the gospel, and I'd be like, oh, that's really, I'm no problem with that. We just want that. You know how hard it is to get an audience? But I'm telling you, if instead of retaliating, and they know that you have the means to sit there and knock them a couple of pegs out from under them, and instead of repaying evil for evil, you show grace and mercy to them, they are going to... That's it. We're almost done, and we're going to get done because I got other stuff. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. That's tricky. Boy, oh boy, in the eyes of everyone. Got to be careful. Try to do right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live in peace with everyone. Now, you know what? I had a neighbor, and he just did not like the church. He hated the fact that his wife went to church. Edith and A.C. Jesse. You've heard me tell that story a million times. Tried like crazy. I tried to live in peace with him. He just didn't want anything to do with me. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it's mine to avenge. I will repay, say the Lord. You shouldn't be worried about those things. Those are my things. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If your enemy is thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, they won't know what to think. They'll be like, what is he doing? Oh, I don't like this and whatever else. But eventually, they're going to come and they're going to kind of see what's happening. You do these things that they will see Christ in you. Go ahead. Yep. A chameleon. Oh, yeah. 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 You know what? He does say here, as far as it's possible to be careful to do what is right in everyone's eyes. That's a hard thing right there. Because we can become chameleon-like sometimes in trying to do right in everybody's eyes. So the thing of it is, and I think the thing that he's kind of saying here is, you know what? You are in the world. You are not to be of the world. But I tell you, don't sit there and be like, oh my lands, he went to the bar, and I can't believe it. You know, I'm reading the book. Mom, did you finish 32 AD? You probably long gone finished that. I had to take an hiatus from that, while working on that. So I'm on there, and it's kind of interesting. I'm reading a section, and she and her big tower, whatever the big tower guy's name is, they were in the garden, and it was past. And he says, no. If they see the fact that you and I are in this garden alone, who knows what they will do to you? And I just registered with me for over a day or two. there are things. Stronger, weaker brother. Who understands stronger, weaker brother? Who doesn't understand stronger, weaker brother? Okay, nobody's holding their hands up. So, stronger, weaker brother is a biblical concept. It's referred to, stronger, weaker brother. I'm going to close with this. I may be, okay, let me say it this way. I may be perfectly fine with mowing my grass on a Sunday late afternoon while the sun is still up in the sky. I may be absolutely fine with that. Why? Because the Sabbath is Friday night to Saturday night. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to worship on Sunday, but I'm going to try to rest on Saturday. That way I'm refreshed for Sunday when it's time for me to preach and I'm not tired from working on Saturday. And that really is when the Sabbath is. But I don't have a problem at all with somebody who says, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rest on Sunday instead of on Saturday because that's the Lord's day and I want to honor the Lord. Okay, that's all great, good, and fine, or whatever else. But if I had somebody that I'm trying to minister to, and you know, I know in the back of my mind that if they saw me out there mowing my grass on a Sunday, they'd be like, he's the pastor, and he's mowing his grass on a Sunday. Even though they may not have a clue that the Sabbath is actually Saturday. You know, keep the Sabbath day holy or whatever else. That's Saturday. You know, but they're thinking Sunday, I'm not going to mow my grass on Sunday. It's just not worth it. I'm going to try to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. I think he's kind of reiterating the Paul, stronger, weaker brother argument there. We don't become chameleons either. I want to win people, you know, that go to bars, but I'm probably not going to go to a bar to try to minister to somebody. I had a guy who, you know, I go to bars and I minister to people all the time. I win them to Jesus. I let them know that I'm cool. The thing of it is the guy's not in ministry anymore. He's divorced from his wife, and the guy's a buffoon. He's just a buffoon. Everything that he does, he's crashing and burning. So I don't think you become like a chameleon, Dad. I don't. I think we got to be smart and careful. Absolutely. But I think at the same time, I'm not going to do something that's going to, like, somebody else think, oh, my land, why are they doing that? Or whatever else. You know, we want to win the favor of people. If we win the favor of people by showing mercy and grace, we win the favor of people by not dogging them because they're Pittsburgh fans or whatever else, or because they eat different kinds of food than we might eat, or whatever it might be, and we just have that relationship and stuff that's good, then crying out loud, you know how much easier it is going to be for you to minister to that person? So I think that's why he's saying that. So these last things, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If your enemy is embarrassed, don't highlight it. If your enemy is hungry, give him something to eat. If your enemy is in need of a job, help him find a job. If your enemy's car is broken down, send your son over there to help him fix it. Whatever it is, do these things. By doing these things, you're going to heap burning coals on their heads. But I'll tell you what, more than that, I think you're going to have an audience at some point. I think they're going to be able to listen to you. Do not overcome evil, or do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Be good. Lord, bless my friends. Give them a good night. Help these kids to sleep really well tonight. Help them to have the best day ever tomorrow in school because they were in church here tonight. Be with the moms and the dads, everybody, and just help us to do these things that we've started to talk again about tonight. We love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.